Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled, where breakthrough discoveries of today become tomorrow's medical revolution. Here's a question that'll stick with you. What if we've been missing an entire plumbing system inside your brain, and we just found it? I'm not talking about blood vessels. We've known about those forever. I'm talking about something else, a hidden drain, a waste removal pathway that was hiding in plain sight, invisible until this year when researchers at the Medical University of South Carolina caught it in action using MRI technology originally built for astronauts. This isn't a minor refinement to what we already knew. This is new anatomy, found in living humans for the first time, confirmed in tissue. And it changes everything about how we understand Alzheimer's disease, brain aging, traumatic brain injury, and why sleep matters so much more than we realized. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand what your brain's been doing to clean itself all along, and what happens when that system fails. Let's dig in. Your brain is the most metabolically demanding 3 pounds of matter on your body. Think about that for a second. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it burns through 20% of your oxygen. That's absurd. That's unsustainable. That's also completely necessary because every thought, every memory, every perception your brain generates comes with a metabolic price tag. Neurons are incredibly busy. They're firing constantly, synapses connecting and disconnecting, proteins synthesized and broken down. All of that activity generates waste, metabolic byproducts that pile up like trash on collection day. Except your brain can't just leave its garbage on the curb and wait for someone to pick it up. If waste accumulates in the brain, bad things happen. Plaques form, inflammation spreads, neurons begin to die, and the whole system starts to fail. So the brain has to clean itself, constantly, every second of every day. The question that's haunted neuroscience for decades is this: exactly how does it do it? And how many different routes does that waste take to leave? For most of medical history, scientists thought they knew the answer. They were wrong. For centuries, there was a belief baked into neuroscience. The brain was an island. Not literally, of course, but conceptually. The brain was thought to be completely isolated from the body's immune and lymphatic systems. That vast network of vessels that drains waste and coordinates immune responses everywhere else in your body. The meninges, the protective layers surrounding the brain, were supposed to be a barrier, a wall, a separation between the brain's private waste management system and the rest of the body's infrastructure. This wasn't a small assumption. It shaped how scientists thought about brain disease, brain aging, and neuroinflammation for generations. Then, about a decade ago, something started to crack. Researchers in mice found hints of something unexpected. Lymphatic vessels in the meninges. Not many. Not obvious, but they were there. These weren't supposed to exist. The textbook said they didn't. But there they were, woven into the protective layers surrounding the brain. And if lymphatic vessels existed in the meninges, then the brain wasn't an island. It was connected. It was plugged into the body's waste removal system. The question became, how connected? And how important was this connection? This week, we got an answer. Under Albayram is a neuroscientist at the Medical University of South Carolina. He spent years studying meningeal lymphatic vessels, those hidden drainage pathways in the brain, but he'd never actually watched one work in a living human. Then he got access to something extraordinary. A real-time MRI technique originally developed through a NASA partnership to study how spaceflight affects fluid dynamics in astronaut brains. The technology was designed to solve a different problem entirely, but Albayram realized it could answer his question. He could watch fluid move through the human brain in real time. So he did. Over 6 hours, he tracked cerebrospinal and interstitial fluid flowing along the middle meningeal artery, a vessel in the protective membrane surrounding the brain, in 5 healthy volunteers. Here's what he saw. Fluid moving slowly, steadily, passively, not the quick, dynamic pulsing of blood pumped by a heartbeat, not the forceful surge of arterial circulation. Instead, something gentler, something that looked exactly like drainage. It's slow, it's steady, it's passive. It moves like water draining through a pipe, not water being pumped. This is the signature of lymphatic flow, not circulation, but drainage. And here's what makes this crucial. It confirms, for the first time in living humans, that the middle meningeal artery is part of the brain's waste removal system, not a side pathway, not a backup route, a central hub. This is one of those moments where the story gets genuinely wild. The imaging technology that made this discovery possible wasn't built for neuroscience. It was built for space. NASA needed to understand why long-duration spaceflight causes vision problems in astronauts. Researchers discovered that fluid shifts occur in the brain during weightlessness. Cerebrospinal fluid migrates, intracranial pressure changes, and the optic nerve can swell. To study this, they developed dynamic contrast-enhanced MRI techniques that could track fluid movement in real time with unprecedented precision. The technology was designed to protect people leaving Earth. It just helped us find new anatomy in every human brain on it. That's the beautiful part about scientific tools. Once you build something to see one thing clearly, you realize it can see other things too. Albiram's team took the NASA imaging protocols and pointed them at a question that had been open for a decade. How does waste actually move through the brain? And the answer came through. Space research, landing in medicine. Discovery, bouncing between worlds. But seeing something on an MRI isn't the same as proving it's really there. So the researchers did something else. To verify their findings, the team didn't just rely on imaging. They went deeper. Working with scientists at Cornell University, they examined human brain tissue using ultra-high-resolution microscopy, the kind that allows multiple cell types to be seen simultaneously. They looked at the tissue surrounding the middle meningeal artery and asked a simple question: what cells live here? What they found was the cellular confirmation of what the MRI had suggested. The region surrounding the middle meningeal artery contains cells typically found in lymphatic vessels. The same types of cells responsible for clearing waste throughout the body. The same architecture, the same function. Two independent lines of evidence. One from living brains, one from tissue, both pointing to the same conclusion. This isn't a scanning artifact. This isn't a misinterpretation of data. This is anatomy, real cellular structural anatomy that exists in your brain right now, whether you knew about it or not. And if this drainage hub exists, then the question becomes urgent. What happens when it fails? Here's where this gets serious. For decades, researchers have been trying to understand why the brain fails to clear the proteins that accumulate in Alzheimer's disease. Two proteins in particular, amyloid beta and tau. These are waste products, metabolic byproducts that should be cleared from the brain. But in Alzheimer's patients, they pile up. They form plaques, they tangle, and neurons begin to die. The leading hypothesis has been that the brain's primary waste removal system, the glymphatic system, involving fluid flowing along blood vessels and being processed by support cells called glial cells, becomes less efficient with age. Maybe the cells shrink less during sleep. Maybe the fluid doesn't flow as well. Maybe the clearance just slows down. But what if we've been missing part of the picture? What if there's another drainage hub, the one we just discovered, that also breaks down? What if it's damaged in ways we haven't even measured yet? What if the reason amyloid and tau accumulate isn't just because one system fails, but because we didn't know there were multiple systems to begin with? Albiram is already pursuing research on exactly this question. He's studying how this newly discovered drainage system behaves in patients with neurodegenerative diseases. The goal is clear: understand what normal looks like, recognize early signs of failure, and design treatments that actually address the root problem, not just the symptoms. This discovery might reframe Alzheimer's disease entirely, from a problem of protein misfolding to a problem of plumbing, from a disease of the neuron to a disease of the infrastructure. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. This stuff matters, and I want to make sure you're getting it. Picture this: a 65-year-old woman, healthy, passing all her cognitive tests. But deep inside her brain, something's beginning to fail. Maybe it's a slow degradation. Maybe it's damage from a head injury years ago that never fully healed. Maybe it's the cumulative effect of poor sleep, stress, and aging. Whatever the cause, the drainage system that's supposed to clear metabolic waste is running slower. Backing up. Failing. Waste begins to accumulate. Proteins that should be cleared start to stick around. Inflammation sets in. And by the time symptoms appear, By the time memory lapses become noticeable, the damage is already done. This is why the discovery of the middle meningeal artery as a major drainage hub matters so much. Because if we can identify which patients have compromised drainage early, before plaques form, we might be able to intervene. We might be able to restore function. We might be able to prevent the disease entirely. But the implications extend beyond Alzheimer's. Abiram has been asking questions about traumatic brain injury. What happens during a concussion? Are the lymphatic vessels damaged? How do they recover? If recovery is slower than we assumed, does that explain why some people develop chronic problems after a single head injury? And then there's sleep. Sleep isn't just good for your mind, it's essential for your brain's trash removal. During sleep, your brain cells literally shrink, creating more space for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through and wash away metabolic waste. The glymphatic system is most efficient when you're asleep, which means if you're not sleeping well, your brain's drainage system is compromised. Night after night, week after week, poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it makes your brain's plumbing fail. Your brain's ability to clear waste isn't some abstract detail. It's directly affected by choices you make right now. Sleep is the biggest one. When you sleep, your brain's drainage system works at peak efficiency. The neurons shrink, the fluid flows, the waste gets cleared. Night after night of good sleep is like taking your brain to the car wash. It comes out clean. But chronic sleep deprivation? That's like never washing your car. The dirt accumulates. The damage compounds. And over years, that neglect catches up with you. Aging is another factor. The lymphatic vessels in the meninges, those drainage highways we just discovered, they degrade with age. The cells that line them don't work as well. The flow slows down. And if the flow slows down, waste backs up, which is why aging is the biggest risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. But here's the hopeful part. We might be able to slow that degradation. Exercise improves lymphatic function throughout the body. A healthy diet reduces inflammation and metabolic waste. Managing stress keeps your immune system from overreacting. These aren't just good habits for your waistline or your mood. They're maintenance for your brain's plumbing. And now that we know this drainage hub exists, researchers can study what helps it function and what damages it. They can test interventions. They can develop treatments. For the first time, we're not just guessing about brain health. We're starting to understand the actual infrastructure that keeps the brain clean. A major challenge in brain research is that we still don't fully understand how a healthy brain functions and ages, Albiram said. Once we understand what normal looks like, we can recognize early signs of disease and design better treatments. This study involved 5 people. 5. It's a small sample, but that's not the point. What's remarkable is the finding itself. A new drainage hub in the human brain, confirmed in living tissue, caught on camera for the first time. The human brain is the most studied object in science. Billions of dollars, millions of researchers, centuries of anatomical investigation. And we're still discovering new systems. There are probably more discoveries to come. The meningeal lymphatic system likely has pathways we haven't mapped yet. There might be additional drainage hubs. There might be backup routes we don't understand. The brain is far more complex than our models have suggested, but that's not a failure of science. That's the whole point of science. We build better tools, we ask better questions. We discover what we didn't know was missing. Albiram's team is already planning the next phase of research. They're studying how this drainage system changes with age. They're looking at what happens in disease. They're examining injury and recovery. They're building a map that's actually accurate. And every discovery in that map has the potential to save lives. Oh, and if you're watching on your phone, there's a hype button right below the video. Smashing that really helps smaller channels like ours get discovered. So let's get concrete about what this discovery actually means for you right now, today. If you're in your 30s or 40s, this is about prevention. Sleep matters more than you think. Exercise isn't just about fitness, it's about keeping your brain's drainage system working. Stress management isn't optional. These aren't lifestyle suggestions. They're maintenance for the infrastructure that keeps your brain healthy for decades. If you're in your 60s or older, this is about understanding your risk. Have you had head injuries? Do you sleep poorly? Are there memory changes you've been worried about? These aren't separate problems anymore. They're all connected to the same system, the drainage network that's supposed to keep your brain clean. A doctor who understands this new anatomy might be able to catch problems earlier than we could before. If you have a family history of Alzheimer's, this is about hope. For the first time, we're understanding the actual plumbing that fails in this disease, which means for the first time, we might be able to fix it. That future isn't here yet, but discoveries like this are pointing the way. Albiram's team has opened a door, showing us anatomy we didn't know about, functions we didn't fully understand, systems we've only begun to map. The brain you carry around in your skull is more complex, more mysterious, and more incredible than you realized. And the fact that we're still discovering new things about it, that's not a sign of how much we don't know. It's a sign of how much we're about to learn.
Let the future be your guide.